Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. No. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
It's another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, and I'm Dr. Neal Malik. Hey there, happy Friday, and welcome to another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, where I answer your health questions related to fitness, diet and nutrition, and more. You send in the questions, and I answer them for you. Oh, and if you do send in a question and you're in the U.S., we'll mail you a copy of our hardcover workbook. If you're outside of the U.S., we'll email you a PDF version. Now, what's the easiest way to send in a question? Just email it to health@oldpodcast.com. All right, and with that, let's jump right in and hear today's question as we optimize your life. Today's question came via email. Ken writes, "Hi, Dr. Neal. This is Ken from the Philippines. I'm a regular listener to your show. My wife and I recently got ourselves a gym membership, and our goals are, of course, fat loss and improved general fitness. I have some experience with strength training back in my college days, and the missus generally lives a non-active lifestyle. So I took on the role of our own personal trainer despite my lack of qualifications and experience. What I'm learning from the many different sources on the internet is to combine resistance and cardio training. Can you please speak more about this? And may I ask for your thoughts on what our ideal training week would look like? My wife and I have full-time jobs with no kids. We plan on going to the gym for about an hour a day, at least 3 days a week, and we are both determined to be in the best shape of our lives." Thank you so much for taking the time to send in your question, Ken from the Philippines, and thank you for being such a dedicated listener. I truly appreciate you. All right. The ideal training to help you and your wife get in the best shape of your lives is, drumroll please, the one you both will stick to over the long term. Come on, as a longtime listener, you knew I had to say that. But you also know that I'm not going to leave it at that. I will provide you with some more specifics. So let's get to it. There are 5 components to physical fitness. So we want to make sure that our exercise program includes all of these components to some extent. Here are the 5 components: cardiovascular fitness, musculoskeletal fitness, flexibility, balance, and speed. So the ideal is to regularly incorporate all of these components in our exercise routine. All right, let's start with the first one, and probably the most straightforward: cardiovascular fitness. Improving our cardiovascular fitness, or our cardio, basically means improving the health of our heart and our blood vessels. Cardio simply means heart, and vascular means blood vessels. Exercises that help improve heart and blood vessel health are rhythmic, whole-body activities that are performed at a moderate to vigorous intensity over a period of time. So, very simply, we're talking about things like walking, jogging, cycling, rowing, swimming. You get the idea. Ideally, performing these activities at a moderate pace at a minimum will improve the health of our cardiovascular system, our heart and blood vessels. Next, musculoskeletal fitness. Now, musculoskeletal fitness is a little bit trickier. There are actually 2 subtypes of musculoskeletal fitness: muscular strength and muscular endurance. These 2 concepts, again, can be a little bit more confusing. Building muscular strength, for example, requires a different form of exertion when compared to building muscular endurance. Both are important, but they require different types of training. Let's use an example. Let's say I have a friend whom we'll call, Guilfoyle. Guilfoyle spends quite a bit of time in the weight room performing heavy squats and deadlifts. Now let's say we were to convince him to change his routine and to squat 100 times using just his body weight. We might find that his legs get fatigued after having to endure this type of activity, maybe after just 25 squats. He may not even make it to 100. Normally, he could easily squat over 300 pounds or about 135 kilograms 5 times, but may pass out from exhaustion after having to squat 100 times using just his body weight. So we'd say Guilfoyle's legs would meet the muscular strength component, but maybe not muscular endurance. So let's compare Guilfoyle to someone we'll call Ehrlich. Ehrlich, on the other hand, can't squat 100 times using just his body weight without stopping. We then ask Ehrlich to squat maybe 100 pounds 5 times. Well, that may not go so well. This is because his legs aren't used to pressing that amount of weight. So Ehrlich's legs would meet the muscular endurance fitness component, but not necessarily muscular strength. Now, I want to be very clear. Both forms of training are great. Both are considered important components of overall fitness. The ideal would be to have both strong legs that are capable of pressing heavy weight, and legs that can endure activity for longer periods of time. To develop both muscular strength and muscular endurance, we need to incorporate both training styles. Now, the next 3 physical fitness components are flexibility, balance, and speed. These are a bit more straightforward, kind of like cardio. When it comes to flexibility, we're basically talking about stretching. Balance is the ability to maintain equilibrium while moving or when keeping the body still. And speed, of course, is the ability to move the body quickly. Okay, so now that we know what the 5 components of physical fitness are, what would an ideal training week look like? And how do we incorporate all of these? This is what the American College of Sports Medicine recommends. When it comes to cardio, they recommend every week to try and get at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity. Or you can adjust this by increasing the intensity from moderate to vigorous and aiming to squeeze in 75 minutes of cardiovascular activity each week. So by increasing the intensity of your cardio, you don't have to spend as long each week performing these types of exercises. So spreading this over the course of a week might mean 30 minutes of moderate intensity cardio 5 days per week, or 25 minutes of high intensity cardio 3 days per week. My recommendation would be to incorporate both every so often. So we could add some sprints into our cardio routine to add speed and intensity at the same time. Okay, we also want to make sure to incorporate some muscular strength and muscular endurance training. This would mean performing some resistance training, like with weights, for example, at least twice a week. For those just starting out, the recommendation is to target all of the major muscle groups during each resistance training session. So twice a week, skipping 1 day in between, you want to work all the major muscle groups. So, after performing a whole body warm-up, you don't really want to lift weights in a cold body state. You want to warm up first, like a moderate paced walk for 5 minutes. We would then want to perform at least one exercise that targets the chest, one exercise that targets the back, one exercise that targets the biceps, one exercise that targets the triceps, one exercise that targets the shoulders, one exercise that targets the abs, one exercise that targets the quadriceps, one exercise that targets the hamstrings and glutes, and one exercise that targets the calves. For each exercise, aim to lift the weight 10 to 15 times. Again, this is the recommendation for newbies, and this will start to build muscular strength and muscular endurance. But as we get more experienced, we can modify these guidelines in lots of different ways. We would want to gradually increase the weight, for example, so that we build more muscular strength. At some point, you can also incorporate speed with resistance training. Plus, resistance training has the added benefit of automatically improving another fitness component, balance. Then there's flexibility. The recommendation here is to perform whole body stretching at least twice per week too. And like muscular strength and muscular endurance training, we want to stretch each major muscle group. And when stretching, hold each position for at least 15 seconds. When stretching, your muscles, your tendons should feel slightly uncomfortable. Once you feel your muscles and tendons starting to resist, that's where you'd want to stop and hold the stretch. That's how you're going to improve your flexibility. Now, the most ideal time to stretch is actually after a workout. Oh, and by the way, yoga counts as flexibility, muscular strength, muscular endurance, and balance training all in one. Now, what about performing cardiovascular exercise and resistance exercise on the same day? This is great. I don't recommend it for newbies though. If you've been performing resistance exercises and cardiovascular activity regularly for, I would say, at least 6 months, you could try completing both in one workout. If you decide to do this, do the resistance training first, then the cardio, and then end with some stretching. When you're hiring, it feels amazing to finally close out a job search. But what if you could get rid of the search and just match? You can with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it filters out incompatible applicants. So when you're hiring, the process is much faster, and you only have to consider applicants that are already likely to be a great fit. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/health. Just go to Indeed.com/health right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/health. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
Thank you so much for taking the time to send in your question, Ken, and for being a regular listener. Now, if you want to send in a question to be answered right here on the show and get a copy of our workbook, you can email one to health@oldpodcast.com. Or if you want your own voice heard on the podcast, come by oldpodcast.com/ask. Right on that page, you can record straight from your computer's microphone. It's really easy, and you can even play back your message and do retakes before sending it in, or you can do it the old-fashioned way and call in your question. The number is 161-I-LOVE-OHD. That's 1-614-568-3643. Thank you so much for doing that. Answering your questions is my favorite part of the show. All right, that'll do it for another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily. Thank you so much for listening every day and all the way through. I hope you have a great start to your weekend, and I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.